Let's not sugarcoat it. Some people simply don't like you, and they'll never admit it to your face. They won't start a fight, they won't block you, but they will smile politely, nod at the right moments, and say all the right things while secretly hoping for your downfall. This isn't just social awkwardness, it's quiet sabotage. And the longer you ignore it, the deeper it drains you, from the inside out. Maybe you've seen it before, a compliment that feels more like a cut. A handshake that's colder than the room. A friend who's warm in public but distant when you're alone. It's subtle, it's confusing, and worst of all, it makes you question yourself. I felt that sting too. Trusted someone, laughed with them, supported them, only to realize they were never on my side to begin with. They just played the part well. And here's the danger. If you don't spot these signs early, you'll keep giving your time, trust, and energy to people who are quietly tearing you down. So today, we're not here to gossip or point fingers. We're here to see clearly, to pull back the curtain and ask, what does their behavior really mean? You might not like what you hear, but it's better to know the truth than to live inside a lie. Number 1. They act overly nice in public, but cold in private. Have you ever experienced something like this? You're at a social gathering, laughing and talking with friends. Everyone seems cheerful, and there's that one person who showers you with warmth and friendliness in front of others. They smile broadly, compliment you generously, and even put an affectionate hand on your shoulder. It feels good, almost reassuring. Yet, something strange happens when everyone else leaves the room. Suddenly, that same person grows distant, cold, almost indifferent toward you. Their smiles fade, their eyes avoid yours, and the easy conversation evaporates. It's subtle enough that you question yourself. Maybe you imagined it, maybe they're just tired. But deep down, you sense the contradiction. It leaves you unsettled, doubting your own instincts. Ask yourself honestly, is this behavior just casual mood swings, harmless inconsistency? Or is there something more troubling beneath the surface? Could it be possible that the excessive warmth they show publicly is merely a mask, carefully worn to hide a deeper dislike or resentment? Such questions might seem uncomfortable, even paranoid, but they're vital. They're necessary checkpoints that prompt you to look closer, think deeper, and guard your emotional well-being. The psychology behind this type of behavior often stems from hidden competition, jealousy, or even a quiet desire to subtly undermine your self-worth. People who secretly dislike you rarely confront you openly. They understand that direct confrontation risks exposure and accountability. Instead, they choose a safer path, the slow erosion of your confidence through subtle inconsistencies. By acting overly friendly in public, they craft a deceptive image of generosity and warmth, which not only shields them from suspicion, but also makes their private coldness harder for you to confront. After all, how can you accuse someone of hostility when everyone else has witnessed their apparent kindness? This tactic allows them to quietly assert power over you without ever risking their own reputation. I've seen this happen personally. I once had a friend, a close acquaintance whom everyone loved. He was charismatic, charming, and always seemed delighted to see me whenever we met in group settings. He'd praise me loudly, make inside jokes that only we supposedly shared, and generally behaved like I was important to him. Naturally, I felt valued, even special. But whenever we found ourselves alone, his demeanor shifted dramatically. His warmth vanished instantly, replaced by curt responses and distant politeness. Initially, I was confused, then hurt. Gradually, I began questioning myself, wondering if I had done something wrong, or if perhaps I was reading too deeply into his actions. It took time and emotional pain to finally recognize the truth. The warmth he displayed publicly wasn't genuine. It was performative, strategic. He never truly cared about me. He merely used me to enhance his own social standing and to appear generous in front of others. Realizing this felt bitter, but it freed me from the emotional confusion and self-doubt he had subtly imposed upon me. What makes this behavior so damaging is precisely its subtlety. The inconsistency between their public warmth and private coldness creates cognitive dissonance. You start questioning yourself rather than them. Your instincts warn you something isn't right, but your rational mind pushes back, saying, "They've always been nice in front of everyone. You're just overreacting." This internal debate distracts you from seeing the situation clearly, trapping you in a loop of self-doubt and uncertainty. In fact, you may even double your efforts, trying harder to gain their approval and warmth, only deepening the cycle and granting them more power over your emotional state. Here's where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes invaluable. The Stoics teach us a powerful lesson about personal dignity and emotional independence. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say or think or do, only what you do." In other words, your inner peace should never depend on how others choose to behave. You cannot control whether people genuinely like you or simply pretend for their own gain. What you can control is your reaction, your ability to recognize manipulation, remain clear-headed, and maintain your dignity, no matter how subtly someone tries to undermine you. Practically speaking, here's how you handle situations like this. When you next encounter someone whose public warmth contrasts sharply with private coldness, pause and simply observe, rather than immediately reacting or trying to fix the situation. Ask yourself calmly, is this warmth genuine or am I sensing something else? Set clear mental boundaries. Instead of internalizing their contradictory behavior as your failure, see it as information. Recognize their inconsistencies as a reflection of their character, not yours. Do not chase their approval. Instead, reaffirm your own value and self-respect. You have no obligation to accept the emotional confusion someone else attempts to impose on you. Stoicism does not demand that you become emotionally distant or suspicious of everyone around you. It simply asks you to remain clear and deliberate in your relationships. Genuine friendships don't rely on mixed signals or hidden agendas. They are built on openness, consistency, and mutual respect. Being alert and mindful isn't being cold-hearted. It's a respectful acknowledgement of your own worth. Refuse to tolerate subtle disrespect or emotional manipulation. Your dignity isn't negotiable. Finally, remember this essential truth. Life is far too short and precious to waste on relationships filled with hidden resentments, subtle manipulations, and deceptive smiles. You get to choose who stays in your circle and who must leave. Surround yourself with people whose public affection matches their private sincerity. Choose friends who respect you openly, clearly, consistently, not those who rely on secretive hostility or quiet sabotage to feel superior. Standing firm on these boundaries may not always be easy, especially if you've invested emotionally in relationships that never truly served you. But standing firm is crucial. Let your boundaries reflect your genuine respect for yourself and for the kind of relationships you deserve. Be willing to let go of those who hide resentment behind kindness, who confuse your heart and mind for their own gain. Because ultimately, the people worthy of being in your life won't need to pretend. Their kindness won't fade when no one's watching. Their respect won't shift depending on who's in the room. And their warmth won't vanish simply because it's no longer useful to them. These genuine connections are what you deserve, and they're worth every effort to preserve and protect. Number 2, they undermine your achievements with concern. Have you ever shared exciting news about a personal achievement or opportunity only to receive a reaction that felt strangely unsettling? Perhaps it was a close friend or trusted colleague who responded, not with genuine joy or encouragement, but with a cautious, carefully phrased question, wrapped in a smile. "Oh, congrats. But are you really sure you can handle that?" Initially, their reaction might seem like genuine concern, a harmless, even friendly gesture. Yet beneath that seemingly supportive exterior, you feel a subtle chill, a quiet unease you can't easily shake off. You can't quite pinpoint why their reaction made your stomach tighten, why a compliment left you feeling insecure instead of uplifted. It's that vague sense of something being wrong, something you can't name clearly, yet undeniably feel. A creeping suspicion that what appeared as support was actually something else altogether. It's the chilling realization that someone you thought was your ally might secretly hope to see you stumble. Let's call this behavior exactly what it is, not an accidental slip, not playful teasing, but a subtle and insidious form of social manipulation. People who employ this tactic consciously or unconsciously are experts at masking their envy or insecurity behind seemingly good intentions. Their true goal isn't to support or protect you. Instead, they use these carefully calibrated comments as invisible weights, slowly dragging down your confidence and keeping you exactly where they feel most comfortable, below them. Over time, these subtle undermining remarks erode your self-worth. Each comment plants a seed of doubt, quietly suggesting that perhaps you're not capable enough, not deserving enough, not strong enough. Before you know it, you start questioning your abilities and your decisions, subtly handing your power over to someone who pretends to have your best interests at heart. I experienced this firsthand not long ago when I earned a significant promotion at work. Proudly, I shared this milestone with a friend I'd known for years, expecting enthusiasm or at least genuine acknowledgement. Instead, her smile turned sympathetic, her voice gentle, yet oddly cautionary. "That's amazing, really. But do you think it's the right move? Aren't you worried it might be overwhelming?" At first, I brushed off her reaction, assuming she was genuinely concerned, yet her words lingered, echoing in my mind over the following weeks. My excitement dimmed. Doubt seeped into my confidence. Had I made the wrong choice? Could I handle this new responsibility? Slowly, my friend's words shifted my emotional landscape, transforming pride into worry, joy into hesitation. It took time and much self-reflection to recognize her pattern clearly. Each success I shared had always been met with a similarly veiled caution, carefully disguised envy subtly cloaked in friendly concern. Only then did I realize the chilling truth. She wasn't worried about me failing. She feared my success, afraid I might surpass her or break free from the invisible limits she placed around our friendship. When you examine it closely, this kind of subtle manipulation is about power. Rather than openly competing or directly confronting, they quietly exert control through doubt. By consistently downplaying your achievements or highlighting potential failures under the guise of concern, they create a psychological barrier, a quiet fence around your growth. They don't want you to surpass them. They don't want you reaching for heights they themselves fear to reach. Thus, they choose a passive strategy, undermining your self-belief through gentle words and worried smiles. It's a form of control exercised not with aggression, but through feigned kindness and cautious warnings. Yet, if we're truly honest with ourselves, we might recognize that we've all occasionally fallen into similar patterns. Perhaps envy or insecurity has pushed us to subtly downplay someone else's success. Recognizing this behavior in others is crucial, but it's equally vital to reflect inward. Have we ever disguised our insecurities behind similarly subtle remarks? Have we unconsciously held someone back because their growth threatened our sense of security? Such honest reflection is uncomfortable, but essential for our emotional growth. Understanding these patterns in ourselves helps us approach them with clarity and compassion, both toward others and toward our own vulnerabilities. This introspection aligns deeply with Stoic philosophy, reminding us that while we cannot control the hidden motives or subtle manipulations of others, we always hold power over our reactions and interpretations. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This isn't an invitation to ignore disrespect or dismiss genuine hurt, but rather an empowering reminder that our self-worth should never be defined by external opinions, no matter how subtly they're presented. You don't have to react with anger or bitterness, but neither must you quietly accept subtle forms of disrespect. Your dignity, your confidence, and your inner peace depend entirely on how clearly and consciously you define your boundaries and worth. Practically, this Stoic perspective gives us a clear and calm approach to handling these subtle, undermining moments. Next time someone responds to your success or good news with suspicious caution or subtly disguised negativity, try calmly and directly addressing their concern. "Thanks for your perspective. Can you explain why you feel that way?" This simple yet firm approach shifts power back to you. You're neither confronting aggressively nor passively accepting their doubt. Instead, you're respectfully but directly asking them to clarify their intent. This immediately deflates their subtle control. You refuse to accept the invisible boundary they're attempting to draw around you. You take back the narrative, calmly reinforcing that your worth and achievements are not subject to quiet doubts or veiled jealousy. Remember, Stoicism doesn't mean shutting down emotionally or becoming defensive. It simply asks you to recognize and respect your own value and to firmly, clearly communicate your boundaries. Your emotional clarity and self-respect are never negotiable. Those who truly value you won't feel the need to undermine or subtly sabotage your growth. It will openly celebrate your wins, genuinely share your joy, and quietly support you through your challenges, without any hidden conditions. Life is far too precious and far too short to allow your energy and confidence to be slowly drained by people who disguise jealousy as concern, manipulation as kindness. You deserve authentic relationships, connections rooted in honesty, respect, and mutual celebration. If someone in your circle consistently struggles to celebrate your successes sincerely, perhaps it's time to reevaluate their place in your life. Stand firm, recognizing clearly that true friendship never seeks to diminish you. It uplifts, celebrates, and empowers you. By calmly setting these boundaries, you declare unmistakably that you will no longer allow anyone's insecurities to quietly shape your own perception of yourself. Your value isn't decided by the subtle fears or jealousies of others. It's defined wholly and entirely by you. You are worthy of genuine celebration, real support, and relationships that build you up rather than quietly wear you down. Choose carefully who you keep close. Choose deliberately to invest in those relationships that nourish rather than erode your spirit. Above all, stay true to your inner values, your self-respect, your dignity, and your emotional wisdom. Number 3. They copy you, then compete with you. It starts quietly. You notice a friend or colleague casually complimenting your style, your ideas, or even your achievements. Initially, it feels flattering. After all, imitation is supposed to be the sincerest form of flattery, isn't it? But soon enough, something subtle yet unsettling happens. You begin to notice them adopting not just your clothing style or your speech habits, but your interests, your ambitions, even your goals. They enroll in similar courses, they apply for similar jobs, or they cultivate friendships within your circle. On the surface, this seems innocent, even coincidental. Maybe it's just friendly competition or shared interests. Yet something deep within you quietly insists otherwise. It's that intuitive tug, a slight unease whispering, something's off here. You can't quite pinpoint why it bothers you, but it does. And slowly you notice they're friendly, supportive, and warm in public, but distinctly cold, aloof, and distant when you're alone. Their smiles fade and their eyes harden, leaving you puzzled and questioning yourself. Have you ever stopped to genuinely consider, is this behavior truly a friendly rivalry, sincere admiration, or innocent coincidence? Or could there be something more intentional, more sinister behind it? Could it be an indirect but deliberate attempt to diminish your uniqueness, undermine your confidence, and quietly position themselves as your equal, or worse, your superior? These reflections can feel deeply uncomfortable, but they're essential. It's precisely this subtlety, this veil of innocence, that makes this behavior so insidious and effective. At its core, the psychology behind such behavior is driven by insecurity and envy. People who copy and subtly compete with you rarely possess enough confidence to challenge you openly or express honest admiration. Instead, they choose a passive-aggressive route, quietly imitating your style, your path, your ambitions, then striving silently to outdo you. It's not just about competition. It's a covert form of emotional sabotage designed to unsettle your confidence and blur your identity. By mirroring you, they aim to erase what makes you special and unique, quietly pressuring you into uncertainty, self-doubt, and confusion about your own worth. Moreover, they cleverly mask their intentions behind friendly smiles and enthusiastic comments. If confronted, they quickly resort to plausible deniability, claiming innocence or coincidence. They might say, "I had no idea you wanted the same thing," or "It's just something I've always liked too." Their explanations seem logical enough that you second-guess your instincts. Over time, these subtle, ambiguous interactions chip away at your sense of self, leading you to question your own judgment and perception. I personally witnessed this dynamic unfold in a previous workplace. A close coworker, someone I initially admired, began taking interest in projects I led. At first I felt flattered. Their enthusiasm seemed sincere, even inspiring. They asked questions, showed genuine interest, and soon enough, I noticed them pitching similar projects, often adding minor changes or enhancements. Gradually, colleagues and supervisors began comparing us openly, often subtly elevating their versions of my ideas over my original proposals. In private, however, this same coworker's warmth vanished completely. Conversations felt strained, brief, and oddly dismissive. My confusion turned to doubt, and doubt to anxiety. Was I overly sensitive or paranoid? Were my ideas even that original to begin with? It took me months to clearly recognize what was truly happening. This wasn't genuine camaraderie or coincidence. It was calculated competition, quietly fueled by envy and insecurity. Each copied idea was not admiration. It was a deliberate effort to diminish my value and position themselves above me. Recognizing this clearly was deeply unsettling, yet simultaneously liberating. Finally, I understood why I had felt so drained and uncertain. My coworker wasn't interested in genuine connection. They simply viewed me as competition, someone to be silently defeated rather than openly supported. These manipulations operate through subtle psychological mechanisms. The ambiguity of their actions creates a fog of confusion, making you question your perception rather than their behavior. Your natural inclination to trust others and avoid conflict can lead you to internalize their manipulations as your own sensitivity or paranoia. But ask yourself, are you expending valuable emotional energy trying to justify their subtle competition? Are you trying too hard to gain approval or friendship from someone who clearly doesn't value your true worth? This is precisely where Stoic philosophy provides valuable insight. Epictetus wisely reminds us, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. You may never be able to fully understand or control someone else's envy, insecurity, or hidden intentions, but you can and must control how you respond. You have the power to define clearly who you allow into your inner circle, whose actions you internalize, and whose subtle manipulations you consciously reject. From a Stoic perspective, the best way to handle this subtle form of social competition is to respond calmly, clearly, and intentionally. The next time you sense someone subtly copying and competing with you, pause. Observe their behavior without immediate reaction. Consider asking them directly, yet gently. I've noticed we seem to have many similar interests lately. Can you tell me more about your motivations? This simple, calm question immediately disrupts their hidden agenda. It makes the subtle explicit, removing ambiguity and reclaiming your emotional clarity. Remember clearly, responding with calm confidence doesn't mean confrontation or hostility. It simply means setting firm boundaries and communicating that you're aware, alert, and unwilling to accept subtle forms of disrespect. Your dignity and clarity of purpose matter more than someone else's insecurity-driven attempts to diminish you. Your job isn't to change their behavior, only to calmly establish your boundaries and affirm your own self-worth. In the end, life is far too short to be surrounded by individuals who view your success or uniqueness as a threat. Those who genuinely care about you won't copy you out of insecurity or compete silently behind closed doors. Instead, they'll openly admire, support, and celebrate your uniqueness without feeling diminished by it. They'll understand that your success does not threaten theirs. Rather, it enriches everyone involved. So, clearly evaluate who you choose to keep close in your life. If someone consistently and subtly tries to compete with or undermine you, recognize this as a sign of their internal struggles, not yours. Honor yourself by maintaining clarity about your boundaries, values, and self-worth. You deserve authentic relationships grounded in mutual respect, genuine admiration, and emotional honesty. You don't have to quietly accept hidden rivalry or subtle sabotage from anyone. Instead, confidently choose to surround yourself with those who openly and sincerely uplift you. Stand firm, clear, and calm, knowing that your self-worth can never be compromised by another person's insecurities. Ultimately, your circle of influence should reflect the values you cherish: clarity, integrity, authenticity. Remember, those who genuinely love and support you will never need to copy, compete, or subtly diminish you. They will openly celebrate who you are, exactly as you are, and inspire you to keep growing, not through subtle manipulation, but through sincere and honest friendship. Number 4. They're busy only when it comes to you, but cold in private. You reach out to someone you consider a friend, someone you've laughed with, supported, or perhaps grown up alongside. You send a message suggesting a coffee catch-up or a simple conversation to reconnect. Hours pass, days. The reply comes, if it ever does, and it's always the same. Sorry, I've just been so busy lately. At first it sounds reasonable. Life is hectic, right? We all juggle a lot, but then you start noticing a pattern. They're consistently unavailable when it comes to you. Yet, strangely, they always seem to have time for others, posting brunch pictures with mutual friends, showing up at parties, tagging people in spontaneous get-togethers. And you begin to wonder, is it really their schedule, or is it something else? Pause here and ask yourself, is their busy just a convenient way to keep you at a distance? Could it be that their life isn't too full? They're just making intentional choices about who gets their time and who doesn't. When it comes to you, the door always seems half closed. This realization is painful because it cuts through the heart of what we often don't want to face, that some people stay just close enough to avoid guilt, but far enough to avoid genuine connection. This kind of behavior often hides in plain sight. On the surface, it's easy to dismiss. After all, no one wants to seem needy or overly sensitive. You tell yourself, maybe they're really just overwhelmed, or I shouldn't take it personally. But when someone's consistent absence is paired with visible presence elsewhere, it's not about busyness, it's about priorities. And here's the deeper truth. When someone constantly deprioritizes you, they're silently communicating how little space you hold in their life. It's not said directly, but it's felt deeply. The psychology behind this behavior is often rooted in passive distancing. Instead of having an honest conversation or taking accountability for a shifting dynamic, some people quietly push others away through avoidance. They don't want confrontation, so they create emotional distance, masked as scheduling conflicts. Over time, this slowly erodes the foundation of trust and connection. You find yourself in a state of emotional limbo, unsure whether to hold on, let go, or question your own worth for not being worth the time. In some cases, this behavior also ties into subtle control. By being available to others but not to you, they control the emotional dynamic. You're left guessing, trying harder, seeking approval, unknowingly placing your value in their unpredictable hands. It's a form of social manipulation that keeps you off balance, always wondering what you did wrong or what you could do better. Meanwhile, they maintain the upper hand through nothing more than absence. I remember this happening to me with someone I used to be very close with. We had shared everything: ambitions, heartbreaks, late-night talks. But as time passed and our paths diverged, I noticed she began growing distant. Every time I suggested meeting up, there was a reason not to. Work, family, a crazy week. But I'd see her out with others, attending weddings, going on weekend trips, posting stories full of connection. Just never with me. At first I rationalized it. I didn't want to be the insecure one. But eventually I had to face the truth. She wasn't too busy for connection. She was too busy for me. That hurt. Deeply. Not because she owed me her time, but because I had spent so long pretending I didn't notice she was already choosing where her time went. And it wasn't in my direction. What's worse is the internal toll this takes. You don't just feel hurt. You start to question your worth. You wonder if you're boring, difficult, or replaceable. The damage isn't just the absence of the other person, it's the slow disintegration of how you see yourself. And this is where many people stay stuck. You keep trying, hoping they'll come around, giving them the benefit of the doubt long past its expiration date. But let's reframe this from a Stoic perspective. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control others' actions, we are entirely in control of our response and our sense of value. Epictetus wrote, "Seek not for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." In other words, accept reality as it is, not as you hope it could be. If someone's actions repeatedly show that you're not a priority, believe them. Don't argue with their behavior. Don't chase closure. Simply observe, understand, and choose peace. Your time, energy, and presence are not burdens. They are gifts. And if someone consistently fails to see that, then you must become the one who sees it first and chooses differently. You can't force people to include you, but you can stop waiting for invitations that were never coming. This isn't bitterness, it's clarity. It's setting boundaries, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. A practical approach? The next time someone uses busy as an excuse, ask yourself, are they busy with life or just too busy for me? Don't confront them with anger, but take a mental note. Then start redirecting your energy. Spend your time on people who reciprocate, who show up, who text back without delay, who want you in their life, not out of guilt or obligation, but out of genuine joy and connection. Let their consistency be your confirmation. This isn't about demanding attention or validation. It's about protecting your energy and refusing to invest in relationships that only leave you empty. Remember, awareness is the first form of liberation. Once you see clearly, you stop begging for scraps and start building new tables. Places where you are truly welcomed, not merely tolerated. In conclusion, life is too short to constantly explain your worth to people who are already committed to misunderstanding or undervaluing you. If someone only seems to be busy, when it comes to you, that's not just a red flag, it's a quiet farewell. Accept it with grace. Not everyone who walks beside you is meant to stay. And that's okay. Your peace matters. Your time matters. Your self-respect matters. Choose people who choose you, consistently, kindly, and without excuse. And never again apologize for walking away from those who were never truly present to begin with. Number 5. They avoid physical contact like the plague. Have you ever reached out for a simple handshake and felt the other person stiffen? Or leaned in for a friendly side hug, only to be met with a step back, a tight-lipped smile, and that unmistakable awkward silence? You shrug it off, thinking maybe they're just not touchy. Maybe it was a bad moment. But deep down, there's a discomfort you can't quite name. You weren't asking for affection. You were trying to connect. And what you received in return was a cold, wordless message. Not with you. It's subtle. It's often excused. But when you start noticing the pattern, it's impossible to ignore. They laugh freely with others, clasp shoulders, lean in close during conversations, just not with you. You watch them throw their arms around other friends, high-five teammates, rest a hand on someone's back while talking, and then when it's your turn, the warmth disappears. What once felt like coincidence now begins to sting with intention. The message isn't just about physical distance, it's emotional. And you start asking yourself, why only me? What did I do? Let's be clear. Some people are naturally less physically expressive, and that's okay. But what we're talking about here isn't a general aversion to contact, it's selective disconnection. They are physically open and affectionate with others, but with you, they create a deliberate boundary. This isn't just a personal preference, it's a silent rejection, a subtle but unmistakable way to remind you that your presence isn't welcome in their space. It's not about physical touch, it's about emotional placement, and you're being placed firmly on the outside. And that, more than the avoidance itself, is what hurts. Physical contact, even in small doses, is a sign of emotional closeness. A casual pat on the back, a handshake, a lean in during laughter, these are all micro-signals of trust, warmth, and shared energy. So when someone avoids even the smallest gestures of contact, they aren't just avoiding your hand, they're refusing closeness. They're building an invisible wall, and whether or not they ever admit it, that wall has meaning. I remember working with someone who for months seemed perfectly polite, always said hello, smiled in meetings, maintained professional friendliness. But something always felt off. She would high-five others after successful pitches, exchange hugs at team events, share inside jokes with warmth. But with me, nothing. The handshake was limp, avoided if possible. During group photos, she'd subtly shift away. It felt personal, but I convinced myself it wasn't. Until one day, during a celebration for a joint project, she hugged everyone, literally everyone, but skipped me. Not accidentally, not awkwardly, just skipped. That was the moment I stopped lying to myself. This wasn't about touch, it was about place. And mine, in her view, was on the edge. What made it worse was what came next. Me doubting myself, wondering if I'd said something wrong or done something to offend. The silence around the avoidance was louder than any insult. That's what this kind of behavior does. It makes you question your own worth. And that's the real danger. When we're denied connection, physically and emotionally, we don't just feel rejected, we feel wrong, unworthy, like we don't belong. And that's exactly where the cycle of self-doubt begins. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't have to beg for inclusion. You don't have to chase warmth or closeness, because any connection that's real and mutual will never require you to fight for basic human dignity. If someone intentionally avoids even the smallest gestures of connection with you, they are sending a message, one they may never say out loud, but that your heart understands perfectly. You are not someone I want close. And that's painful. But it's also clarity. From a Stoic perspective, this is where the power begins. You cannot control whether someone wants to connect with you. You cannot change how they express themselves or interpret your presence, but you can control your response. You can choose to stop internalizing their coldness as a reflection of your value. You can choose to recognize their rejection not as a verdict on your worth, but as a simple declaration of misalignment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In this context, your mind is your sanctuary. You don't need their touch to validate your existence. You don't need their approval to confirm your belonging. What you need is your own clarity to say, I see this for what it is. I will no longer chase connection from someone who clearly doesn't want it. So what should you do when you find yourself in this situation? First, observe. Notice the patterns. Are they affectionate with others but cold with you? Has this happened repeatedly, without explanation? If so, consider addressing it, not to accuse but to clarify. You can say something like, I've noticed we don't really interact the way you do with others. Is everything okay between us? It's not about confrontation, it's about awareness. And if they brush it off, dismiss it, or double down on the coldness. You've gotten your answer. Your response from there doesn't need to be dramatic. It doesn't need to be cold or bitter. It simply needs to be intentional. You pull back. You stop trying. You invest your energy in people who don't flinch at your presence, who don't avoid your humanity, who meet your connection with ease, not hesitation. Because here's the truth. You deserve to be around people who don't shrink away when you reach out. You deserve relationships where warmth flows naturally, where presence is mutual, and where closeness doesn't feel like a battlefield. You don't need to earn a place in someone's space. The people who care about you will let you in, without needing to make you beg for it. In the end, physical avoidance isn't just about bodies, it's about hearts. When someone consistently avoids even the smallest signs of closeness, they are telling you where you stand. And as painful as that is, it's better to know the truth than to live in quiet confusion. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to win them over. You just need to stand tall in your own dignity and say, I see what's happening, and I choose not to shrink myself to fit where I'm not wanted. Life is too short to chase after hands that keep pulling away. Choose instead to reach for those who reach back. Number 6, they disappear when you need support. Think back to one of your lowest moments. Maybe it was the end of a relationship, the loss of a job, a health scare, or just a stretch of life where everything felt too heavy to carry alone. In that darkness, who was there for you? Not just in words, not just in passing, but truly there. Checking in, listening without judgment, sitting beside your silence when there was nothing left to say. Now ask yourself, how many people you thought would show up? Simply didn't. It's a painful question, one that stirs up a quiet, familiar ache. Because the truth is, many of us have faced storms only to realize the people we counted on most were nowhere in sight. They didn't argue with you. They didn't slam a door. They just vanished. You sent a message asking for a bit of their time. No reply. You called, hoping they'd pick up like they used to, voicemail. Maybe they replied with, sorry, I've just got a lot going on, but that message came days too late. It's not just their silence that hurts, it's what that silence says, especially when you've been there for them in the past. When they needed comfort, you showed up. When their life fell apart, you held them together. But now that you're in the same place, they're too busy, too distracted, too unavailable. That kind of abandonment doesn't leave a bruise. It leaves an invisible scar. Because it's not loud or obvious, it's quiet, passive. And that's what makes it worse. They didn't say they wouldn't be there, they just weren't. No explanation. No apology. just absence. That's what betrayal looks like when it's dressed in silence. And here's the hard truth. It's often not accidental. People don't disappear because they're bad with emotions or didn't know what to say. They disappear because staying would require something they aren't willing to give. Effort, time, or even just the discomfort of seeing you vulnerable. Their comfort matters more than your crisis, and they reveal, without saying a word, that your pain just isn't their priority. So let's be brutally honest. If someone only sticks around when things are fun and easy, that's not a relationship, it's an arrangement. And it's fragile. Because real connection is tested not by laughter, but by loss. Not by celebration, but by crisis. I remember a time when my life was quietly falling apart. I was going through a deeply personal struggle, something that shook me to the core. Naturally, I reached out to a few people I had always shown up for. But instead of comfort, I was met with silence. Excuses, deflections, and then nothing. The pain of my crisis was one thing. The pain of realizing I was going through it alone, that was something else entirely. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I was too needy, maybe I was asking too much. But the truth hit harder. I had poured into relationships that were never built to hold me when I broke. And that realization? It hurt. But it also set me free. Because I finally understood this. People reveal their truth, not in how they celebrate with you, but in how they support you. Anyone can raise a glass when life is good. Few will kneel beside you when it's not. And those who won't, they've already made their choice. Now here's where Stoicism offers a powerful shift in perspective. The Stoics taught us not to depend on external forces for our sense of stability. As Epictetus said, when something happens, the only thing in your power is your attitude toward it. You can either accept it or resent it. We don't control who shows up, we don't control who vanishes, but we do control what we learn from that silence. So instead of being bitter, be clear. Use their absence as a filter, not to harden your heart, but to purify your circle. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you, and that's not a tragedy, it's truth. The next time you find yourself looking around during a hard season and noticing who's missing, don't panic. Don't beg. Don't explain. Just observe. And when the storm passes, let that memory guide you as you choose who to keep close, because absence speaks volumes. And those who leave you when you're down don't deserve to rise with you when you rise again. That doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It doesn't mean becoming cold or closed. It means adjusting your investment, loving with wisdom, giving without self-abandonment, and expecting nothing less than mutual respect. Because real friendship doesn't vanish when things get messy. Real connection doesn't shrink when the light fades. The ones who stay, the rare, quiet few who call, who listen, who show up even when they don't know what to say, those are your people. Treasure them, thank them, and most importantly, be one of them for others. Not because you expect it in return, but because that's the kind of person you choose to be. In the end, life will hand you many storms. But not everyone deserves a seat beside you in the shelter. And that's okay, because it only takes a few people who truly care to make the hardest moments bearable. So don't mourn the ones who disappeared. Thank them for the lesson, and turn toward the ones who stayed, with open arms, with clearer eyes, and with a heart that now knows exactly what kind of love is worth keeping. Not everyone deserves to stay, but the ones who stayed, make sure they know they're priceless. Number 7, they gossip about you behind your back. Why does it cut so deep when you find out someone has been talking behind your back, especially when it's someone you trusted? It's not just about the words they said. It's about the betrayal. The realization that someone you confided in, someone who smiled with you, nodded as you spoke, maybe even hugged you, turned around and used your words as fuel for their next story. That kind of violation doesn't just bruise the heart, it shatters the foundation of trust. You begin to ask yourself, if they truly cared, why would they talk about me instead of talk to me? Let's be honest, gossip isn't harmless. It isn't just venting or blowing off steam. When someone shares your private struggles or twists your story into a juicy anecdote, they are taking something sacred and cheapening it for their own benefit. This isn't about connection, it's about control. And that smiling face, that fake concern, it's just a mask. Gossip wears the disguise of friendliness. It often comes from people who appear close, colleagues who act warm, friends who seem invested, even family members who claim they're just worried about you. But when they take your vulnerabilities and pass them around like casual entertainment, they're not being supportive. They're asserting dominance. Because let's call it what it is. Gossip is a power play. It's how the insecure make themselves feel important. By claiming access to your private world, they boost their image in the eyes of others. I know what's really going on with them. That's the line they don't say out loud, but always imply. And what do they get in return? Attention. Relevance. A temporary sense of superiority built on your pain. I remember confiding in someone once about something deeply personal, something I hadn't shared with anyone else. I was vulnerable. I trusted them. I assumed the words I spoke were landing in a safe space. But a few days later, I overheard someone else casually reference the very thing I had said in confidence. The blood drained from my face. I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding, but I knew who it came from. And in that moment, the friendship died. Quietly, completely. It wasn't about what they said. It was about what they broke. Trust. What hurts most about being the subject of gossip isn't just the betrayal. It's the silent realization that the person you trusted has made you small in rooms where you aren't even present. That they've reduced your story to a spectacle. That they were never really listening to understand you. They were collecting material. Here's something even more dangerous. The people who gossip about others to you will almost certainly gossip about you to others. It's not a personality quirk. It's a pattern, a habit of disloyalty disguised as connection. And the biggest trap? Mistaking their openness for intimacy. You think they trust me with all this information. No, they're just reckless with everyone's boundaries, not just yours. So how do you respond when you find out you've been the subject of gossip? Not with rage, not with drama, but with clarity. Approach the person directly. Ask them calmly, I heard something that only you knew. Can you help me understand how that happened? Watch their response. If they deflect, minimize, or act like it's no big deal, you've learned everything you need to know. Because someone who truly values you will never treat your trust like a casual privilege. And if they don't own up to it, if they don't seem to care, then they never deserved access to that part of you in the first place. The Stoics taught us, you don't control what others say, but you control your inner fortress. You control your dignity, your response, your next move. Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. So don't stoop to gossiping back. Don't play their game. But also, don't stay silent out of politeness when your boundaries have been crossed. Say what needs to be said with composure, then adjust your proximity to them accordingly. Let gossip be the filter. Not all exposure is loss. Sometimes when people show you who they are, believe them. And if someone cannot respect your privacy, they do not deserve more access to your life. You don't need 100 friends. You don't need to be liked in every room. What you need is a few real ones. People who protect your name when you're not around, who hold your story like it matters, who value your trust like gold. So take a good look around. Who speaks your name with respect when you're not there? Who holds your silence with care? These are the ones worth holding close. And the rest? Let them talk. Let them reveal themselves. Then quietly and confidently walk away. Number 8. They're always joking about your flaws. It starts off so casually. Maybe you're with a group of friends and someone cracks a joke about how you always show up late, or how clumsy you are, or how your voice sounds when you're nervous. Everyone laughs, including you. You smile along, even though something stings. It feels off, but you let it go. They're just joking, you tell yourself. That's just how they are. But the next time, it's something deeper. They mimic the way you talk when you're excited. They poke fun at your goals. They throw out comments like, only you would mess that up, or typical you. And again, it's brushed off as humor. But somehow, you're always the punchline. At what point does it stop being funny? At what point does just joking turn into something else entirely? Here's the truth. When someone consistently jokes about your flaws, it's not about humor. It's about hierarchy. They aren't laughing with you. They're laughing at you. And it's a way of establishing subtle control. These jokes chip away at your confidence, one laugh at a time. They create an unspoken rule. You're the one who's less, and they're the one who gets to point it out. Why do people do this? Sometimes it's insecurity, sometimes it's jealousy, but often it's about dominance. Making someone else the subject of ridicule, especially in public, grants the joker a temporary sense of power. And when they add, relax, it's just a joke, it becomes a shield, a get-out-of-accountability-free card. And here's the worst part. The longer it goes on, the more you begin to believe it. That's what happened to me. There was someone in my life, charismatic, funny, always surrounded by others, but they loved to make jokes at my expense. At first, I laughed along. I didn't want to seem too sensitive. But after months of being the quirky, insecure, always overthinking one, I began to see myself through their lens. I stopped speaking up. I second-guessed everything. Until one day I realized the jokes weren't harmless. They were strategic. And I wasn't laughing anymore. This is how emotional erosion works. It's not a slap in the face. It's a slow wearing down of your self-respect. And the most dangerous part? You might not even notice until it's already taken a toll. So ask yourself, are you tolerating disrespect disguised as humor? Are you trying to earn your place in a group by accepting jokes that make you small? If so, it's time to reclaim your voice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if the thoughts around you are mocking, belittling, condescending, eventually your soul will absorb that color. But here's the good news. You can choose to step out of that cycle. You can recognize what's happening and make a conscious decision to draw the line. What does that look like in practice? Next time someone makes a joke that doesn't feel right, try saying, "What do you mean by that?" It's calm, it's clear, and it puts the weight of explanation back where it belongs, on them. You can also choose silence, a quiet, steady look, a pause. Let them sit in their own words without you having to validate them with a forced laugh. Tuning into these moments doesn't make you cold. It makes you conscious. You're not being difficult. You're protecting your dignity. You don't have to fight or prove anything. You just have to remember this. Anyone who loves you doesn't build their joy on your humiliation. Anyone who respects you doesn't make you the butt of the joke. Life is too short to surround yourself with people who tear you down in the name of fun. So choose wisely. Choose people who lift you up, even when they tease. People who know your flaws and never use them to make you feel small. That's not just kindness. That's real connection. In the end, every joke tells you something. So ask yourself, is this coming from affection or from something darker? And once you know the answer, you get to decide. Does this person still deserve a place in my life? Number 9. They give compliments that sting like insults. It sounds like a compliment. The tone is warm, there's a smile, maybe even a light laugh, but something doesn't sit right. You walk away replaying the words in your head. You look great today for a change. Or that's actually impressive coming from you. And the more you think about it, the colder it feels. What looked like praise was actually a veiled jab. The kind that doesn't leave bruises, but leaves doubt. We've all been there. Standing in the awkward silence after a compliment that somehow made us feel smaller, not seen. That gut feeling, something's off, is your instinct warning you. These aren't slips of the tongue. They're precision attacks disguised in sugar. Here's the truth. Backhanded compliments are a subtle form of manipulation. They allow the speaker to maintain social cover, appearing kind, even supportive, while planting seeds of self-doubt in you. Over time, those seeds grow. You begin to question your own abilities, your looks, your worth. And all the while, the person delivering these compliments keeps their hands clean. I remember sharing a personal win with someone I considered a close friend. I had worked for months on a project, and it had finally received some recognition. Their response? "Wow, I didn't think you had it in you, but I'm genuinely surprised." It was wrapped in a smile, laced with laughter. I forced a laugh back, but later, alone, I felt small. It made me wonder why they were so surprised. Was I really not capable in their eyes? Did others think the same? That's how this works. These remarks don't just hurt, they unravel confidence, slowly, silently. The goal isn't always to insult you outright. The goal is to keep you just unsure enough, just dependent enough to stay in your place. It's about hierarchy, about reminding you gently that you're not quite there. It's control, but without confrontation. And more often than not, this behavior is driven by insecurity. People who feel threatened by your growth won't always criticize you directly. Instead, they undercut you with twisted praise. And here's a difficult truth. Sometimes we've done this too, unintentionally, out of envy or fear or discomfort with someone else's success. It's human, but recognizing it is the first step to breaking the cycle. So how do you respond? Not with anger, not with a performance, but with quiet strength. You don't need to absorb their words or explain yourself. A calm response like, "Thanks, what do you mean by that?" forces the moment to pause. It puts the spotlight back on them. You take control, not through conflict, but through clarity. As the Stoics teach us, you can't control what others say, but you can control what you accept. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You don't need to internalize every comment, every smirk disguised as support. You have the right to decide what defines you. So when the next compliment leaves a bitter taste, take a moment. Don't brush it off. Ask yourself, is this encouragement or a cage? You are not obligated to remain in the company of people who can't genuinely celebrate your growth. You don't need applause soaked in condescension. What you need and deserve are people who see your light and don't feel the need to dim it to feel better about themselves. Surround yourself with those who build, not bruise, who lift, not lower, who celebrate without qualifiers and support without subtle sabotage. Because you don't just deserve kindness, you deserve truth. And anyone who can't give you that, no matter how polished their words, doesn't deserve a seat at your table. Number 10. They subtly exclude you from plans. It's a quiet Saturday evening, and you're casually scrolling through your social media. Suddenly your heart sinks. There, right on your screen, you see familiar faces smiling at a dinner, a party, or a casual hangout. Friends you believed were close, laughing together, enjoying themselves. But there's one thing wrong with the picture. You're not in it. You didn't even know it was happening. That subtle pang, easy to dismiss but hard to shake, settles in. It whispers, maybe it was an oversight. Yet deep down, a sharper truth cuts in. If they really wanted you there, you'd know about it. We've all felt this subtle yet powerful exclusion. It isn't loud or dramatic, but that's precisely why it hurts more deeply. It's carefully disguised, masked behind vague excuses like, "It was a last-minute thing," or "I figured you were busy anyway." These explanations seem innocent, harmless even, until you realize they're repeated patterns rather than isolated incidents. I remember clearly the first time it happened to me. Friends I trusted would casually mention a gathering after it had already happened, slipping in casual apologies. "Sorry, I just assumed you'd be too busy." Initially, I brushed it off. I made excuses for them because confronting the truth was more uncomfortable than pretending everything was fine. But the excuses ran thin as the pattern became clear. Each exclusion was a quiet message. You don't quite belong. Exclusion, especially when subtle, is a carefully calculated form of passive aggression. Instead of openly communicating dissatisfaction or disagreement, some people choose avoidance. They quietly withdraw opportunities for connection, hoping you'll simply fade away. This passive-aggressive maneuver keeps their hands clean, leaving you to second-guess yourself, wonder if you're overly sensitive, or question your own value within the group. Sadly, we often play along, trapped in a cycle of rationalizing and self-blame. We fear confronting exclusion might confirm our worst fears, that we truly don't matter, so we stay silent. But silence isn't acceptance, it's permission. Permission for others to continue treating you as an afterthought. Stoicism offers clarity here. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Your value doesn't depend on someone else's invitation or acknowledgement. Your worth is inherent, independent of external validation. It's not about being included. It's about respecting yourself enough to only invest in relationships where you're genuinely welcomed. So, how do you break free from this cycle? First, acknowledge what's happening. Don't minimize your discomfort or make excuses for someone else's disrespect. Then, respond calmly and clearly. A gentle, direct question can reveal the truth without escalating tension. You might say, "Hey, I noticed I wasn't invited. Is everything okay?" This isn't confrontation, it's clarity. It's reclaiming your rightful place, not begging for inclusion, but respectfully drawing your boundary. When you stand firm, you shift the power dynamic. You break the cycle of quietly tolerating subtle disrespect. The Stoics remind us, you control your reaction, your dignity, and ultimately, who stays in your life. You're not obligated to tolerate quiet exclusion, just as you're not obligated to be anyone's backup option. Finally, redefine your circle intentionally. Surround yourself with those who actively choose your company, not those who subtly exclude you. True friends don't make you second-guess your place. They make your place unquestionable. They're clear about wanting you there, making certain you never feel like an afterthought. Life is too brief and precious to chase approval from those unwilling to openly embrace your presence. You deserve better than conditional belonging, better than quiet dismissals, wrapped in polite excuses. Ask yourself clearly, am I being treated as a priority or as someone conveniently placed on standby? Your answer reveals exactly how to proceed. Remember, you aren't anyone's backup plan. You're someone's priority. If you aren't theirs, it's time to walk away, and toward those who never leave you guessing where you stand. Remember, your worth isn't measured by those who hide their true feelings behind fake smiles or subtle exclusions. You deserve honesty, respect, and relationships that nourish, not drain you. If today's video resonated with you, please hit subscribe and join our Stoic Spirit community. We're here to support each other in building stronger, wiser, and more authentic lives. Thanks for watching, and stay strong.